And we're back. All right. So hopefully you guys are doing all right. This week, two videos. They should actually be pretty short. I know I keep saying that, but these things should actually remain pretty short. They're new in the sense that there's some new elements, but both of the lessons are going to be on stuff that I think you guys have seen before, just with some added elements. So this is what the worksheet's going to look like. My answers are already in there, but we're going to go ahead and go through it. And so the title is Simplifying Expressions. You guys have simplified expressions before in this same order, and we'll talk about that. But this time we'll have square roots, exponents, and absolute values. Now, in order to simplify these, you guys have heard this before, I'm sure. PEMDAS. All right, PEMDAS, standing for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division. Now, those two go together. They don't really have to be in that order, just as long as they are before multiplication and division are before the addition and subtraction. All right. Now, I did want to mention something about the parentheses. So another thing about parentheses that we want to make sure that we talk about is grouping. Some people actually call it GEMDAS, if you've ever heard of that before. And that's because grouping includes parentheses, it includes square roots, and it includes absolute values. I don't know if you want to screenshot this, pause it while you're doing the problems, but the order is parentheses or grouping, then exponents, then multiplication and division. And like I said, these two kind of go together. Oops, and the addition and subtraction go together, as in you don't have to do them in the order of multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, but you do need to do the multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. And when it comes to addition and subtraction at the end, you're just going to go right down the line. Here's it. All right. Let's quick look at the example. First one. 5 minus 7 times 3 minus negative 2 to the third power. All right. So in our steps, grouping, parentheses, square roots, absolute values, there is none of that. There is a set of parentheses, but when it's talking about parentheses, it's saying, is there something that we should do inside the parentheses? And negative 2 is all by itself, so we don't know about that. Now, the parentheses do apply to the exponent. So exponent is our next thing, so we're going to just deal with this right here. And it's saying negative 2 to the third. Now, think about what that means. And you can use a calculator. These you're definitely going to need a calculator, so make sure you have one ready. Everything else is going to stay the same. And then negative 2 to the third, think about what that means. It's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, times negative 2 would be negative 8. So negative 2 to the third is negative 8. Now, the trickiest thing that I think you guys are going to need to pay attention to is your signs. Do not add or take away signs as you go. So what I mean is this subtraction sign came down right there, and this gave us the negative 8. Try not to drop signs as you go. All right, so we've taken care of the exponent. Next is multiplication and division. There is no division, but we will multiply. 7 times 3 is 21. And we might as well take care of this too. As multiplication, negative times a negative is a positive. All right, 5 minus 21, that would be negative 16. Now, this is what I'm talking about with addition and subtraction. So we did multiplication and division. With addition and subtraction, you do not do it in order. As in, you don't add and then subtract. That's going to make your answer really wacky. What you do, though, is you start, once you have it down to subtraction and addition, you just go straight down the line from left to right. So 5 minus 21 comes first. That's negative 16. Plus 8 comes down, and you have negative 8 is your answer. You can circle your answer, you can box it, you don't have to. One thing you'll notice is that all of your problems are gonna kind of come down like this. So that's gonna be an easy way to tell that you're doing it correctly, because things are simplifying and you end up with one answer. It kind of goes down like a cone. All right, next one. All right, so our order, parentheses or grouping, square roots and absolute value. Now you notice you have a square root. This is a grouping sign. So, and it's in parentheses too, so take care of that first. So the -8, now it's -8, and then square root of 64 is 8. Minus, and I'll just keep everything the same. We took care of our grouping, which was the absolute value. I'm sorry, which was the square root, which is what we had there. All right, next we look for exponents. Doesn't look like there are any. All right, so now we deal with multiplication and division. No division, so let's do the multiplication. -6 times 8, -64 minus, and then again, make sure that you're keeping track of your signs. That minus comes down, and then this -3 times -7 is going to give you 21, positive 21. Negative times a negative is a positive. All right, -64 minus 21, -85. All right, next one. Same thing. Now notice we have an exponent and we have absolute value. So in our order, parentheses or square roots and absolute value. We do have an absolute value. Now, with absolute value, take care of what's on the inside, then get rid of the absolute value. So this is what I mean. In the absolute value, -6 minus 5 is -11. You'll take care of making it positive here in a second. Because we're not done with the absolute value. The absolute value of -11. Now that we've done what's inside, don't try and make things positive beforehand. You're gonna get a weird answer. You're gonna make it kind of funky. -11, -6 minus 5, then do the absolute value, and that is 11. Now, what I meant before by don't add signs is this. It's 11 times -8. If you can put a sign there. I know I said don't add a sign, but some of you are going to think, well, what is the sign? Should I put a plus? Should I put a minus? It's anytime there is no sign, it's going to be between two numbers. It's going to be multiplication. All right, so we took care of our grouping. Now let's take care of our exponent. 11 times -8 will stay, but 3 times 3 squared is 9. Then take care of multiplication or division. We have no division. 11 times 8 is -88. Plus 9. And now we do addition or subtraction. It's addition, and you would get -79. All right, keep in mind it's negative. It's a big negative, and then you're taking away from it, so it would get less negative. All right, one more. Now we do have a fraction. Now, even though division is in the middle of our order, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division. We're going to take care of the division at the very end. The reason for that is, well, I'll show you in a second. All right, let's take care of the grouping first. Now, let's take care of the top and then the bottom. So on the top, -9 plus, well, the square root of 16. So there's a grouping symbol. So do that first. So -9 plus square root of 16 is 4. Everything else is going to stay the same. All right, now let's take care of the parentheses. -9 plus 4 is going to be -5. That's another grouping symbol. Everything else will stay the same. All right, just so you know, this is a step. This is a step. All right, the next step I'll do in a different color just so it doesn't get confusing. Next, we took care of everything grouping-wise. Now we take care of the exponent. Now, this is kind of weird. If this looked like this, with the exponent on the outside, that would mean it becomes positive, right? Because negative times a negative equals a positive, and this means negative 3 squared. Now, because the square is on the inside, this is a weird little rule. Your calculator actually understands this. If you put this in your calculator, it'll come out as negative 9, and that is actually correct in this case, because for some reason when the exponent is right beside the 3, it's separate from the negative. Whereas here you're doing negative 3 squared. This you're just doing 3 squared, and the negative happens to be out in front. A little weird trick there. So just look out for that. Negative 9. Now, oof, squeaking. Okay. We've taken care of grouping, we've taken care of exponents. Now let's do multiplication and division. Now this is what I'm talking about, where let's do multiplication. Negative 5 times 9 is 45. Negative times a negative. Now this is what I'm talking about. When I say we're waiting till the end to do division, can we divide 45 by negative 4 minus 1 right now? The answer, hopefully, is no. What are we dividing 45 by? The negative 4 or the negative 1? Both of them. This is where the rules get a little... the rules are just a guideline. Keep them in mind. If you can't divide yet, you can't divide yet. So we do move on. We took care of the top. Now let's take care of the bottom. The 45 stays on top. On the bottom, negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. 45 divided by negative 5 is negative 9. All right, guys, that's it. Take care.